Hi, fifth graders. Okay, what we have for lesson or unit 24 is understanding volume. There are a couple of things that I want us to really understand in terms of vocabulary, and then we'll move on to the actual lesson. The first one is volume. Volume means how many pieces or how many blocks will go down inside of something. So I think of like a cereal box, and I think of how many little blocks could I get down inside of a cereal box? So the volume is a three-dimensional shape. This shows a three-dimensional shape, like a shoebox or a cereal box. And it is measured. We measure volume by thinking about, again, how many blocks we can get down in there. Okay, then the other one is, whatever those little blocks are, it's a 1 by 1 by 1. Okay? So the little blocks are 1 by 1 by 1. And how many of those little 1 by 1 by 1? It could be 1 inch, it could be 1 foot, could be 1 yard, but it's a unit is a 1 by 1 by 1. So there's two of the words. Next one, a plane figure. A plane figure is a two-dimensional figure. It's something that's flat, like the floor. You can put things, excuse me, on a floor, but you cannot put things in a floor. So that is when we use a plane figure, and that is when we use area. Then the last one down here is a solid figure. A solid figure is a three-dimensional figure. And to find the volume of a solid figure, you measure in 3 dimensions. So you can see that this is 3-dimension down here, and this is 2-dimension right up here. Okay, so we've got volume, and that's how we measure what's going to go inside. We use it in cubic units. Cubes have 3 numbers, and that's, so when I write like if I were to write 18, woo, it's hard to write on the screen, feet, and I put a number 3, that means cubed. So we would read this 18 feet cubed or 18 cubed feet. We're going to see that as we go. So our standard for right now is to understand how to find the volume of a prism, of a rectangle. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next page. So this page is going to show us, again, a 3D shape. Anytime that I like to draw a shape like this. And then I put all my corners, and you can see that this is not like the floor of something. This is a box. Just drawing my lines a little better. It's kind of shaky when we do it like this. I wonder if I can. Oh, there we go. Do you want to switch to tablet mode? No. Okay, so now what we're going to do is look at this and think, this box is the same as the box that I kind of just drew over here. How many cubes would fit in this box? Well, all of those would fit down inside of here. And how I figure this out is this, I'm going to change colors, I think. Okay. This right here is the front surface of blocks, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 across the front. If it's 4 right here, we know that there's another row back here that's 4. So I'm going to put a layer of 8 cubes right here. Then this one's going to be a layer of 8 cubes right over here. And then this one's going to be a layer of 8 cubes. So if we know there are 3 layers and each one of them has 8 cubes, we can just do 3 times 8. And 3 times 8 is 24. Now remember that I said we would label it with that little 3. So we would say this doesn't say feet or inches, so I would just say units. So I could say that that's 24 units cubed. That's how we find volume. Okay, let me see. Oh, I don't know what I just did. I was going to try and erase it. There we go. Okay. So now the question is, explain how 9 square units and 9 cubic units are different. So let me talk to you about that. So if this is my bedroom floor, and I have 3 feet on this side and 3 feet on this side. I could say, oh, that's what this would look like. I would divide it into squares. And I would say, oh, there's 9 squares in there. So that would be 9 square units right there. But if I'm doing cubic units, it has to be a 3-dimensional shape. So I draw that 3-dimensional shape. And I know that this is 3, this is 3, and it's 3 tall. So 3 times 3 times 3 means I could have 27 units down in there. So when we see cubic units, we know that we're dealing with 3 dimension, and when we use square units, we're dealing with 2 dimensions. Okay, next page. Finding the volume. The measure of each edge length of the cube is. So we're talking about one little cube, and if you went back to our first page, we said that it's one by one. So the measurement of each length is 1. The volume of each unit cube is 1. So we know that each one is 1. So if this one, you see this little section right there and this little section? That is 1 square. We're seeing 2 sides of it. So this is 1 square. Okay, don't get that confused. This is the second square and this is the third square. So there's 3 squares on this side. There's going to be 3 on this side too. So each one of these layers has 6. This has 6 and this has 6. You could also see it by looking up here at the top. So I know that 3 times 6 is 18, and that's what it's going to ask us down here. There are how many unit cubes in the bottom layer? Well, there are 6 in the bottom layer, and there are 3 layers. This figure has 18 unit cubes. So I could write unit, the 3, or I can write it like they have it down here. So the volume of the figure is 18. Okay, now if I go down a little bit, we're going to look at this one. This one is 1, 2, 3 cubes. So what is the volume of figure A? 3 units cubed. Okay, oops, sorry about that. I don't know how to get back. There we go. Okay, and I was on this one. Sorry about that. How many of figure A does it take to fill figure B? So how many of these do I need to fill this one? I would need 4. And what is the volume of figure B? So I have 4 on the bottom, 4 in the middle, and 4 on the top. And 3 times 4 is 12 cubic units. Next page. Let's talk about it. Why do you use cubic units instead of square units to find the volume of solid figures? Cubes fit inside of a box. Okay, so cubes fit inside of a box. Square units are flat for a 2-dimensional figure. So Candace places blocks with a volume of 1 cube inside her jewelry box. How many blocks does it take to fill her jewelry box? I want you to pause the video and I want you to answer this one. And then the next one says, what is the volume of Candace's jewelry box? So how many of her cubes will fit in is what her volume is. So I want you to pause the video and answer number 9. Turn it back on when you have your answers and you're ready to go. How many blocks does it take? 4. What is the volume of Candace's jewelry box? 4 cubic units. Okay, Candace has another jewelry box that is like the box in problem 9, but it's taller. It holds 1 more layer. So if this one had 4 in it, now what does the new one have in it? It holds one more layer. What is the volume? Swoop, 6 cubic units. All right. And the last one, I want you to do this one on your own, then turn the video back on and see how you did. How many unit cubes are in each layer? There's 3 on the front, 3 on the back, so there's 6 in each layer. There are 4 layers. So how can you use multiplication to find the volume of the figures and then go ahead and find the volume? It would be 4 times 6 equals 24, so it's 24 cubic units. Okay, that's our lesson on volume. What you have to do on your own is practice page 275 and practice page 276. Sorry, it's not on there. So 275 and 276.